Hey guys, it's the Dutch Sandwich. I'm going to be doing my second collection overview. Now, I did my first collection overview last summer in June, and at that point I'd been collecting for a little bit over a year, so I skipped June. I didn't get time to make a video then, and so now it's July, so I'm about 2.5 years in collecting watches. I had a little bit of movement this past year in terms of selling some stuff and adding some new stuff. And before I get into the watches, I do want to say, based on the comments on my last collection review, just bear with me if you only like watches of a certain price point. I've got kind of all different levels, so those should be something that you're interested in regardless of what your budget is. But the way that I'm going to present them is in the order in which I got them. So obviously I've added some more expensive ones lately and did not start off with expensive ones, so just kind of bear with me and we'll have some fun kind of walking through my collection. So the first one is this Swiss Army Wenger. It's called the 7311X, and my mom actually gave me this watch in 2005 when I graduated college, and so this one's got a ton of sentimental value. I love it because it's always on the right time, and so regardless of which watch I want to wear that's an automatic, I can open up my watch box here, and this one's going to be on the right time, so I can use it as a good thing to set the other watches by. So really like this one. You can actually find these on eBay if you do want this one for like 20 bucks. They still pop up, so that's that one's definitely not going to get sold. And I would say that one is just, it's been through so much with me. I've mountain biked with that watch. I've done all kinds of stuff with it. So another thing I'm going to do for some of these other watches is kind of award them a prize. And so this will be the first one that has a prize. This watch right here has probably the most questions on YouTube. This is the Glycine Airman 1212. It's a 40 millimeter watch. Tons of people want to know, like, where can I get one for how much I paid for it? All kinds of questions. Again, this is just I think a really easy to justify price point to start off in the watch collecting hobby. So I think that's why it gets so many questions. But yeah, Glycine Airman 1212. I think it retails for around 900, and I picked this one up for around 500 or 600. But it was used and it had, some pretty good scratches on it. But that was one of my first kind of forays into collecting watches a couple years ago. That was one of the first ones I added. So next up is a staple in most people's collection. This is a Seiko SKX 007 with the Milt Oyster bracelet. Definitely recommend getting that for it, or the Jubilee bracelet. This one's just so versatile, so just durable. It's a no-brainer. If you're into watches, you kind of have to have something in this world, whether you get this or a Mako or something like that. But that one's just kind of like a must own. The next one's I would say this one's probably one of the more controversial ones. Some people hate this, some people love this, but I make no apologies that I got into watches from watching TGV's videos, and he loved these, and I actually love this watch. Bought it because he had such great things to say about it, and I wear this thing a lot. And I would say out of all my watches, I don't interact with a lot of like watch nerd people. This one gets the award for getting the most compliments. So I'm out, people that don't know anything about watches just love the blue. They love the eye-catching mesh bracelet, and yeah, this one definitely gets the most compliments. So love it or hate it, you can't deny. I mean, it looks cool, it's reliable. It's hard to rag on it, I guess, from my perspective, having owned one. Next up is my Casio G-Shock GW6900. This one wins the award for the most worn watch. So, whether I'm playing tennis or riding my bike or something, this one definitely gets thrown on more than, all the other ones that kind of split time because they are kind of share, similar purposes. This is the only kind of digital sports watch that I have, so it gets a lot of wear. Definitely recommend it. It's cool because it's got the atomic time setting, so once it sees some light and gets a little bit of movement, it powers up and it knows what time it is. So that's a great one to have in a collection. Okay, next up, Omega Seamaster. This one is the ceramic dial version, but it's got the wavy dial on it. I'm not going to go into the whole kind of thing about how this watch came about. I did a review on it where I explained it, but I basically put together a bunch of OEM parts and made an authentic kind of Franken watch out of some different vintages of the Seamaster, and this one's it's fun. I'd say the award that I would give this one is best watch. I mean, this one obviously cost me like $1,300, so that's kind of not fair that it was that affordable. But I mean, a used one of this is like $2,500. I would say this is the best all do it all watch for between $2 to $3 grand that you could buy. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you can wear this thing to work. You can wear this to a nice dinner. It's super versatile. Let's see. Next on my list. Oh, this one's kind of fun. This is a hand-me-down from my late father-in-law. It's a gold-plated Hamilton. I think it's 36 millimeters. It's quartz. It's engraved with his name on the back of it. And he got this for 20 years with Delta. So just, sentimental. That's probably like my best, my watch with the best story. Now, this one I would say wins the award for, it gets 2 awards. It gets the most hated watch out of all mine on YouTube. So people hate this. It's a Alpha Paul Newman Daytona homage, and people just light me up for owning one of these things. I don't understand. I mean, I get it. I guess I should say it. I definitely understand where it's coming from, but this watch, the other award that it wins is for my 7-inch wrist. This has, to me, the best dimensions of any watch. So obviously someday I'd love to own a Daytona. I don't have one in my collection right now, but to me this is like money. The dimensions are just spot on for the way my wrist is shaped and its size. So I love this thing. People always ask me, is it still running? They try to like poke at me for having this watch, but for $150, this thing's it's cool. I really, really like it. What's next on the list here? Okay, so my first Rolex that I got kind of the basic one to start with, a year and a half ago or so, the 14060. This is the 2-line Submariner. Excuse my voice crack there. And I picked this up from David SW, who I buy a lot of my watches from, and it's just, I'd say this one wins the award for most iconic. It's just classy, it's simple, it's perfect. So I have 3. Well, I've got more than 3, but I've got 3 Rolexes that are specific to a year in which the serial number, you still with me? The serial number corresponds with one of my initials. So this is from one of the years. This is a 1999 watch, which is an A serial number. So that's one of my initials, and I thought it'd be cool, to have all 3 initials. So this is one of my initials Rolexes, is kind of like what I call it. See if it'll fit in there. All right, so that one's down. Next one up is the Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon, the plastic crystal and the manual movement. This watch is cool. I would say this one wins the award for watch that I look at the most when I'm wearing it. So something about the distortion of the plastic glass and the arch, just it's like kind of mesmerizing in a way, and other people have mentioned that. It's not just me. It's kind of akin to a vinyl album playing. There's like, it's kind of distorted, it's a little bit off, but it still just kind of draws you in. So that one would probably win for that. And I just like it because it's iconic as well, and it fits me really well. Next up is the Rolex Explorer 2. This is not the 16570 that a lot of people have. This one was only made for 2 years. This is the 16550, and so it's got a little bit different font in the date window, and it had an issue with some of the dials turning to cream. This one's cool, and as you can see, I put this on an Everest Bands leather strap, and it's got the buckle integrated with it. This is the newer style buckle, and it's cool. I love the white face, and I love how it's affordable right now, and yeah, it's just a good pickup. I would say this one would win the award for it gets the most questions in real life. So people know I'm into watches. Some of my friends do, and they'll ask me, well, what is that one? I don't recognize that one. And I don't know if it's the leather band because it's got that unique, case hugging design, or what it is about it. But this one definitely garners the most questions, and people like it. It's not like they're asking because they want to stay away from it. They definitely like it. So. Oh, and that was the second in my my second serial number Rolex. So this is from 1987, which is the first year that they did serial numbers with letters. And so this is an R, 1987 R. Next up is the Rolex 16710. This is the Gmt Master Pepsi from 2005. This is a D serial number. This is the last of the serial number Rolexes. So this one, I don't know. This one is just so cool to me. I think that this one would win the award for best pre-ceramic GMT, and I like it because it's got aviation history in it, and my in-laws have a lot of history in aviation, working for Delta and stuff. So to me, this one's just really, it was just a really easy sell for me. I love it. And then let's see, next up is my birth year watch. This is the Rolex GMT 16753, and it's often called the root beer because it's got a brown dial. And this one was tough. This was a project. I had to source the correct two-tone Oyster bracelet for it. There was a lot of sourcing of authentic parts for this one. I even got this is a newer style buckle for it, but it's this one's yeah, this one's kind of just for me. You buy some watches that people will like. This one, I don't think, unless you're a watch person, this isn't something that you like. Like, my wife hates this watch. It's kind of a love it or hate it thing, and that's why this one I think the award for this one would be that this would be the watch that if I ever got to hang out with some of you guys, some of the watch nerds, this is without a doubt the watch that I would wear if I were hanging out with you guys, because this is just, it's a watch nerd watch. Next up is my Panerai. This is the PAM 392. So it's got that kind of old school television case, 42 millimeters, 22 millimeter wide lugs. This is just, to me, this is like, wins the award for my most macho watch. I just love how it's beefy, but it's still wearable. You can still fit it underneath a dress cuff on a shirt, but you still get all the benefits of having a Panerai. So this one's cool. This one was added in this past year, and I'm loving it. I sold my Tudor Heritage Black Bay for this one. So, similar dimensions, similar purpose, kind of chunkier leather band watch, and I just wanted to go kind of for the more iconic one, the Panerai, versus having the Tudor. Another watch I sold that I should mention that I got a lot of hate for was a fun hand-me-down fake Rolex from my late father-in-law as well. That one made its way into the trash, so that one is no longer. So do not worry, no more fake Rolexes in my collection. Next up is as my last video, I include my wife's watches too. So this is her daily driver. This is her 116234, her Datejust with the fluted bezel, stick hour markers, and the blue hands. She beats the crap out of this one. You can see all the scuffs and stuff, but she loves it, wears it every day, or pretty much every day. She's got one more that she wears, and that one's coming up now. So this is her other one. This is the Audemars, and it's a 36 mil quartz royal oak. So this is a pretty good deal actually for those who want a gold watch that is from one of the more haute horology brands. You can get this for about 2/3 of what the automatic version would cost. So in my eyes, it's a really good deal, especially for like my wife, who doesn't care about movements and stuff like that. She just wants it to be to more or less look good and be reliable. So that kind of checks all those boxes. So my version, my kind of daily driver, I picked this up in the last year. This is the Grand Seiko SBGA 011, the Snowflake, what most people call it. This thing's crazy cool. To me, this is like an under-the-radar Datejust. I'd say it wins the award for most under-the-radar because people have no idea that you just spent Datejust money or have that kind of quality, but it looks like a Seiko. So some people view that as a positive, some people view that as a negative. I really like it. The weight of this thing is hard to even explain how light this is. It's nuts, absolutely nuts how light this watch is. A lot of people are afraid. They ask me questions about it scuffing or getting marks. I'm fairly careful with it. I don't beat up on it. I don't have really any scratches on it. It's been really tough. They put like an extra coating on it to make sure that it's not kind of prone to all that stuff that titanium's kind of known for. So, and let's be anticlimactic. So I put in this, my Fitbit, and that kind of stinks to have that this far in the thing, but yeah, Fitbit, I wear that pretty much every day to keep track of my steps. And, you know, drum roll for my, I would say, I don't like to use the word or the term Grail Watch, but I did buy my Grail Watch this past year. I haven't reviewed it yet, and this is it. So I bought the Rolex Gmt 116710, the BLNR, or, you know, the Batman. So before I got into watches, this was one that I always thought was really cool, and kind of wanted to save it. I kind of wanted to build out the other parts of my collection with other stuff, and not just go right for this. To me, this is like the if the collection were a hot fudge, if the collection were a sundae, this is kind of like my cherry on the top. Like, this was kind of like my crown to this part of collecting watches. Like, I obviously really like Rolex. I like their sports watches. To me, this is the best one, and I finally got it, and I love it. It's I still have the plastic on it, if you can see. Very, very careful with it, and it's every bit as good as I hoped it would be. So, yep, we'll put that in there too. Here's a better angle. So again, the last year, got rid of the Tudor Heritage Black Bay, got rid of the fake hand-me-down Rolex, and then added in the PAM from Panerai, the PAM 392, added the Rolex BLNR, and then added the Grand Seiko Snowflake. So I love watches as a hobby. It's just fun. I love researching new ones, and I don't really know what I'm planning on adding in the next year or so. I'm still kind of on the fence about what dress watch I would get if I got one, and so who really knows? I'd like to maybe get a Timex. I know that sounds kind of weird to want one, but they've got a couple new ones that have come out recently that look really cool. So maybe a Timex or something like that, but we'll see. It's always fun. Anyways, if you guys have any questions about my collection or comments, I'd love to hear them down below, and hopefully we'll see you again in the next video. Thanks for watching.